What would you do if helping a crying child on the street cost you the most important job interview of your life? Only to discover that the child's mother was the CEO of the very company you desperately needed to work for. Where are you watching from? Comment below before we dive into today's story. The clock struck 6:40 a.m., but Benjamin Jackson had stopped counting the minutes. His heart pounded as he watched his 10-year-old daughter Maya struggle to breathe. The asthma attack was bad. Worse than usual. He held the breathing mask to her face, watching her tiny chest fight for every breath. "It's okay, baby girl," Benjamin whispered, his voice shaking. "Daddy's here." Maya's bright eyes looked up at him with complete trust. On the chair nearby hung his only good shirt, faded but clean. Today was the day. Phoenix Industries. The job interview that could change everything. Benjamin had been turned down everywhere else. Being a single black father in Chicago wasn't easy. But Phoenix Industries was different. They hired people like him. More importantly, they had the health insurance Maya desperately needed. Her medicine cost more than he made in 2 weeks. "Daddy, will you get the job?" Maya asked weakly. "That's the plan, sweetheart. Then can we get that chocolate cake from the bakery?" Benjamin smiled, his heart breaking. "If everything goes well, we'll get the biggest one they have." At 7:15 a.m., Benjamin was running through the cold Chicago streets. Sweat soaked through his shirt as he rushed to catch the bus. By 8:45 a.m., he stood 7 blocks from the Phoenix Industries building, a massive tower of glass and steel. He had 15 minutes to spare. Then he heard it, the sound of a child crying. A little girl, maybe 6 years old, sat alone on a bench. Tears streamed down her face as people walked past without stopping. Benjamin froze. His interview was in 15 minutes. His entire future, Maya's future, depended on this moment. But the sight of the scared child broke his heart. He remembered when Maya got lost in a store once. The terror he felt that day came flooding back. He couldn't leave her. "Hey there," Benjamin said gently, kneeling down. "What's wrong?" The little girl looked up with blue eyes full of tears. "I can't find my driver," she whispered. "I'm Benjamin." "What's your name?" "Sophie." "Don't worry, Sophie. We'll figure this out together." Sophie took his hand, and Benjamin felt his job interview slip away. But he couldn't abandon this child. They walked for 30 minutes until Sophie pointed to a huge mansion on Maple Street. A security guard in a navy suit blocked their path, his eyes full of suspicion as he looked at Benjamin. "This little girl lives here," Benjamin explained calmly. The guard spoke into his radio. "Mrs. Richardson, the girl is back with a man." The gate opened slowly, and a woman in an expensive white suit appeared at the front door. Catherine Richardson, the picture of power and success. Her face showed relief when she saw Sophie, but turned cold when she looked at Benjamin. "You brought her back," Catherine said, her voice sharp with suspicion. "She was alone and scared." "I couldn't just walk away," Benjamin replied, staying calm despite her hostile tone. "Why were you with her?" Catherine demanded. "I was heading to a job interview, the most important one of my life. But when I saw Sophie crying, I had to help. My daughter Maya got lost once, and I know that fear." Sophie tugged at her mother's sleeve. "He didn't want anything, Mommy. He just helped me." Benjamin's voice grew softer. "I have a daughter too. She has asthma and needs good insurance. That job, it was our only hope." Something flickered in Catherine's eyes. She studied Benjamin more carefully. "Do you know who I am?" she asked. Benjamin shook his head. "I'm Catherine Richardson, CEO of Phoenix Industries." Benjamin's world stopped. The cruel twist of fate hit him like a punch. He had given up his life-changing interview to help the daughter of the very woman he needed to impress. "I was supposed to interview at your company," he said, his voice barely a whisper. Catherine pulled out some cash and offered it to Benjamin. "For your time and trouble." Benjamin gently pushed her hand away. "I didn't do it for money." Catherine stared at him for a long moment, then glanced at his crumpled application. "Leave your resume. I'll look at it later." She took Sophie's hand and walked inside, closing the door behind them. Benjamin stood there, knowing he had lost everything. The walk home felt endless. When he reached his small apartment, panic seized him. Maya wasn't there. He found his neighbor, Mrs. Johnson. "Maya went looking for you about an hour ago," she said worriedly. Benjamin's blood turned to ice. He ran outside, calling Maya's name. There she was, sitting across the street with her sketchbook, waiting patiently. "I was waiting for you, Daddy," Maya said, running into his arms. "I'm sorry, baby girl." "So sorry." Maya showed him her drawing, Benjamin in his dress shirt, holding hands with a little girl, standing next to a huge chocolate cake. "Did you get the job?" she asked hopefully. Benjamin's heart shattered. "Not yet, sweetheart." That night, as Maya slept peacefully, Benjamin's phone rang. An unknown number. "Mr. Jackson? This is Catherine Richardson." Benjamin's heart pounded. "I did some research on you," she continued. "I want to see you tomorrow. 9 a.m. sharp. Don't be late this time." Benjamin could barely speak. "Yes, ma'am. I'll be there." The next morning, Benjamin arrived at Phoenix Industries. This time, he was taken straight to the 60th floor, to Catherine's corner office. "Mr. Jackson," Catherine said, "I've read your resume. It's not impressive, but what you did yesterday was. I don't want to hear about your past jobs. I want you to solve a crisis." She pointed to a laptop. "A massive snowstorm has shut down our supply routes. Our trucks are stranded, clients are threatening to leave, and we're losing millions. You have 30 minutes to create a complete solution." Benjamin's hands shook as he looked at the complex data on the screen. This wasn't just an interview. It was a test of everything he was. He thought of Maya and began to work. 20 minutes later, Benjamin presented his plan. He had found alternative routes, coordinated emergency transfers, and even created a media strategy to reassure clients. Catherine listened in complete silence. When he finished, she leaned back in her chair. "Mr. Jackson," she said slowly, "I have never seen anyone create such a brilliant solution under such pressure." She pushed a contract across the desk. "This isn't for a regular position. I'm offering you Director of Community Outreach, with full benefits and a salary that will change your life." Benjamin stared at the contract, tears filling his eyes. All the years of struggle, all the doors slammed in his face, all the rejections, they all melted away in that moment. "Why?" he whispered. Catherine smiled genuinely for the first time. "Because you showed me something I've never seen before. A mind that can solve impossible problems and a heart that puts people first. That's exactly what I need." Within weeks, Benjamin had transformed Phoenix Industries' community programs. He secured funding for local schools, created job training programs, and established health clinics in underserved neighborhoods. The board of directors praised his innovative approach, and Catherine watched with growing admiration as he exceeded every expectation. One Friday evening, Catherine invited Benjamin to dinner at the exclusive Skyline restaurant. She wore an elegant navy dress instead of her usual business suit, and Benjamin noticed how different she looked. Warmer, more human. Over dinner, they talked about work, about their daughters, and about the changes Benjamin had brought to the company. Catherine reached into her purse and pulled out a small velvet box. "This is for you," she said, sliding it across the table. Inside was a platinum lapel pin engraved with Director of Community Outreach, Benjamin Jackson, and the Phoenix Industries logo. "This represents more than a title," Catherine explained. "It represents trust, respect, and recognition of your extraordinary character." She handed him another envelope. "And this is your new compensation package. You've earned every penny." Benjamin opened it, his eyes widening at the salary increase. It was more money than he had ever dreamed of. "You believed in me," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I saw something special in you from that first day," Catherine replied. "A man who chose conscience over career. Someone who sees solutions where others see only problems. You didn't just save Sophie that day. You showed me what true leadership looks like." That evening, Benjamin and Maya celebrated at the fancy bakery downtown. Maya ran ahead, then came back to hold his hand as they walked through the city lights. "Can I tell Mrs. Johnson you're the boss now, Daddy?" Maya asked, practically bouncing with excitement. Benjamin chuckled, pulling her close. "You can tell her anything you want, sweetheart. I'll tell her my daddy is a hero," she declared, her eyes shining. Benjamin stopped walking, his heart overflowing. "I'm not a hero, baby girl. I just did what felt right." Maya looked up at him with wise, knowing eyes. "That's what heroes do, Daddy." Back home in their apartment, which now felt brighter and warmer, Maya carefully hung her drawing on the refrigerator. Next to it, she placed Sophie's thank you card and a photo from Benjamin's first day at work. Benjamin sat at their kitchen table, looking at his new platinum pin. Then he reached into his wallet and pulled out Maya's small paper star, her very first gift to him, which he had kept all these years. He would never throw it away. It reminded him of the day he chose love over fear, kindness over opportunity, and how that single moment of compassion had transformed not just his life, but the lives of everyone around him. As Maya slept peacefully in her bed, her breathing steady and calm thanks to the excellent medical care they could now afford, Benjamin whispered a prayer of gratitude. Sometimes he realized the greatest victories come from the smallest acts of love. And sometimes, when you're willing to sacrifice everything for someone else, life gives you back more than you ever imagined possible. The story of Benjamin Jackson proved that character isn't what you do when people are watching. It's what you do when no one is looking, when everything is on the line, and when doing the right thing costs you everything you've worked for. In the end, love always wins.